Long before modern skyscrapers, steel, or machines, humanity achieved awesome feats. Across deserts, jungles, mountains, and islands, ancient builders carved, lifted, and shaped stone and brick. They did so with precision that still baffles today's engineers. These were not primitive people. They were visionaries, architects of wonder, who built monuments that have defied time itself. But before we begin uncovering these breathtaking achievements of the ancient world, make sure you subscribe to Ancient Odyssey, your gateway to the lost wonders, forgotten civilizations, and timeless mysteries of our past. At number 20, the first ancient architectural marvel we'll take a look at is the Nuraghe Towers of Sardinia, built around 1600 BCE. Scattered across the rugged landscapes of this Mediterranean island are over 7,000 of these mysterious stone towers, silent sentinels from a civilization we still barely understand. Each Nuraghe rises like a massive conical fortress, built from giant basalt blocks, stacked with incredible precision without the use of mortar. Some stand over 60 feet tall, with corbelled interiors that have withstood earthquakes and storms for more than 3,000 years. What makes the Nuraghe truly astonishing is their sophistication for the Bronze Age. At a time when much of Europe was still in small tribal settlements, the Nuragic people were constructing complex multi-towered fortresses linked by villages and waterways. Were they watchtowers? Temples? Residences of chieftains? No one knows for sure. But their design shows a deep understanding of defensive architecture, astronomy, and stone engineering, hinting at a society far more advanced than history remembers. Up next, we'll take a look at ancient architectural marvel number 19, the Persepolis Complex of the Persian Empire, constructed around 518 BCE under the rule of Darius the Great. Rising from the arid plains of modern-day Iran, Persepolis wasn't just a city. It was a statement of power and perfection, a royal capital designed to embody the vastness and unity of the Persian world. Built upon a massive artificial terrace, the complex was an architectural wonder of symmetry, precision, and artistic detail. Gigantic stone staircases, carved with images of envoys from across the empire, led visitors toward majestic palaces and halls supported by towering columns, some soaring over 20 meters high. What makes Persepolis truly remarkable is not just its scale, but its engineering finesse. The builders mastered advanced techniques in stone cutting and drainage, creating a city that was both monumental and functional in a harsh desert climate. At number 18, we journey to ancient Thebes, modern-day Luxor, Egypt, home to one of the most astonishing architectural achievements of the ancient world, the Temple of Karnak. Built over the course of more than 2,000 years, from around 2000 BCE to 300 BCE, Karnak wasn't just a single temple. It was an entire sacred complex dedicated primarily to the god Amun-Ra, the chief deity of the Egyptian pantheon. Spanning over 200 acres, Karnak remains one of the largest religious structures ever built by human hands. The site contains massive pylons, obelisks, sacred lakes, and sanctuaries. But perhaps its most breathtaking feature is the Great Hypostyle Hall. This vast chamber, roughly the size of a modern cathedral, is filled with 134 towering sandstone columns, some rising over 20 meters high, intricately carved with hieroglyphs and scenes of pharaohs making offerings to the gods. The engineering precision and alignment of these columns are so advanced that even today, architects marvel at how ancient builders achieved such perfection without modern tools. At number 17, we turn our attention to one of the most fascinating architectural wonders from the Indus Valley civilization, the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro, dating back to around 2500 BCE. Discovered in what is now modern-day Pakistan, this massive structure was part of one of the world's earliest urban centers. The Great Bath is often considered the earliest known public water tank or bathing pool in human history, a marvel of both engineering and urban planning. Measuring roughly 12 meters long, 7 meters wide, and 2.5 meters deep, the pool was constructed with finely fitted baked bricks, sealed with natural bitumen to make it completely waterproof, a technological achievement thousands of years ahead of its time. Surrounding the pool were steps leading down into the water from all sides, along with adjoining rooms that likely served for changing or ritual preparation. What's most astonishing about the Great Bath is its sophisticated drainage and water management system. The builders designed advanced channels and corbel drains to fill and empty the pool efficiently, a level of urban hydraulic engineering that wouldn't be seen again for millennia in many parts of the world. In a city that boasted grid-planned streets, multi-story homes, and covered sewage systems, the Great Bath stands as a shining example of how ancient architecture combined functionality, spirituality, and innovation, proving that the people of the Indus Valley were far more advanced than their era might suggest. At number 16, we journey to ancient Mesopotamia, often called the cradle of civilization, to behold one of its most enduring monuments, the Ziggurat of Ur. Built around 2100 BCE by King Hurnamu of the Sumerian city-state of Ur, in present-day Iraq. This towering stepped pyramid was dedicated to the moon god Nana, the patron deity of the city. It stood as both a religious and political symbol, representing the divine power and technological sophistication of early Sumerian civilization. The ziggurat's design was nothing short of revolutionary for its time. Rising in 3 massive terraces, it once reached over 30 meters or 100 feet high, and was constructed entirely of sun-baked and fired mud bricks, some stamped with the name of Hurnamu himself. Its core was made of mud brick for mass and insulation, while the outer layers were carefully fired for durability, an early example of engineering foresight that allowed the structure to endure for over 4,000 years. Broad staircases led to the temple at the top, which was believed to be the dwelling place of the gods, symbolically bridging heaven and earth. Incredibly, when modern archaeologists excavated the site, they discovered drainage systems within the structure, evidence that the builders had already mastered techniques to protect massive buildings from erosion and water damage. Even in its partially reconstructed form today, the Ziggurat of Ur stands as a monument to human ingenuity and spiritual ambition, a towering reminder that the architectural and engineering brilliance of the ancient world began far earlier than most people imagine. At number 15, we travel to the island of Malta, home to one of the most mysterious and technically astonishing underground structures of the ancient world, the Hypogeum of Ħal Saflieni. Dating back to around 400 to 2500 BCE, this vast subterranean complex was entirely carved by hand from solid limestone, using only primitive tools of flint and stone. Yet what lies beneath the surface is nothing short of breathtaking. A multi-level labyrinth of chambers, corridors, and burial halls, stretching over 10 meters underground, all designed with incredible precision and acoustic awareness. The Hypogeum wasn't merely a tomb, it was a sacred sanctuary, possibly used for both ritual ceremonies and burials. Archaeologists have discovered the remains of over 7,000 individuals, along with exquisite pottery, figurines, and red ochre paintings that still cling faintly to the walls. One of its most fascinating features is the so-called oracle room, a small chamber with remarkable acoustic properties. When someone speaks or chants inside, the sound reverberates throughout the entire complex, creating an eerie, resonant hum. It suggests that the builders not only understood sound but intentionally engineered the space for ritualistic or spiritual effects, something modern sound engineers still study today. What makes the Hypogeum of Ħal Saflieni an architectural marvel is not just its age, which is older than the pyramids of Giza, but the fact that it was created entirely underground, without metal tools or advanced technology. Every wall, arch, and chamber was carefully hewn from living rock, showing that even in prehistory, humans possessed extraordinary vision, organization, and craftsmanship. At number 14, we stand before one of the most visually stunning and symbolically powerful monuments of ancient Egypt, the Temple of Hatshepsut, built around 1470 BCE at Deir el-Bahari, near modern-day Luxor. Commissioned by Pharaoh Hatshepsut, one of the few and most successful female rulers of ancient Egypt, this temple was more than a place of worship. It was an architectural masterpiece. Carved directly into the towering limestone cliffs of western Thebes, the temple rises in 3 grand terraces, connected by long ramps and framed by rows of elegant columns. Its design blends natural and human geometry so perfectly that it seems to grow organically out of the surrounding cliffs, a seamless harmony between nature and architecture rarely seen even today. What makes the Temple of Hatshepsut so extraordinary is its precision and foresight. The layout aligns with astronomical points, allowing the rising sun to illuminate the inner sanctuaries on specific days of the year, a cosmic synchronization between the heavens and the pharaoh's legacy. Even its construction methods reveal incredible engineering skill. Massive limestone blocks were transported and fitted with near-perfect accuracy, while the temple's terraces were stabilized on uneven ground, all achieved without iron tools or modern machinery. In every sense, Hatshepsut's temple stands as an enduring testament to female power, visionary design, and architectural sophistication in the ancient world. Its serene symmetry and spiritual symbolism make it not only one of Egypt's most beautiful monuments, but one of humanity's greatest architectural achievements. At number 13, we travel high into the Andes Mountains of South America to the city of Cusco, where one of the most perplexing feats of ancient engineering still stands: the Sacsayhuamán Walls. Constructed by the Inca civilization between roughly 1000 BCE and 200 BCE, Sacsayhuamán served both as a fortress and ceremonial complex, overlooking the sacred capital of the Inca Empire. But what makes it a true architectural marvel is the incredible precision and scale of its stonework, a mystery that continues to baffle historians, engineers, and archaeologists to this day. The site is built from massive megalithic stones, some weighing over 300 tons, cut and fitted together with such exactness that not even a sheet of paper or a razor blade can slide between the seams. These stones weren't held together by mortar. Instead, they interlock like pieces of a gigantic three-dimensional puzzle, a design that has allowed the walls to withstand earthquakes for over 1,000 years. What's even more remarkable is how these stones were quarried, shaped, and transported. The Incas had no iron tools, no wheels, and no draft animals. Yet they managed to move and position these colossal blocks across rough terrain and steep slopes with near-perfect accuracy. Modern engineers still debate how they achieved this, whether through ingenious levering systems, ramps, or methods lost to time. Even today, when you stand before the towering ramparts of Sacsayhuamán, you can't help but wonder, how did an ancient civilization, without modern tools or technology, build something so enduring, so precise, and so magnificent? It's a mystery that continues to challenge everything we think we know about the capabilities of the ancient world. At number 12, we journey to the Bekaa Valley of Lebanon, to one of the most staggering feats of ancient engineering ever attempted, the Baalbek Trilithon. Part of the grand temple complex of Heliopolis, built and rebuilt across centuries, the Trilithon consists of 3 colossal stone blocks that form part of the platform foundation of the Temple of Jupiter. Each of these stones measures about 20 meters long, 4 meters high, and weighs an estimated 800 to 1,000 tons, making them some of the largest stones ever quarried and moved by human hands in the ancient world. What makes Baalbek truly extraordinary is not just the size of these stones, but how precisely they were placed. Fitted seamlessly together, the Trilithon blocks sit perfectly aligned atop smaller megaliths, forming a base so stable that it has endured countless earthquakes and centuries of decay. Nearby lies an even larger block, known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, which weighs over 1,200 tons, and an unfinished block discovered in the same quarry that may reach nearly 1,650 tons. These discoveries raise a fascinating question. How did ancient builders cut, move, and position stones of such unimaginable size, without cranes, steel tools, or modern machinery? While later Roman builders expanded and enhanced Baalbek's temples, many archaeologists believe that the massive foundation platform predates Roman construction, possibly originating from a much earlier civilization, one whose building techniques remain a mystery. The Baalbek Trilithon challenges the limits of what we think ancient engineers could do. It demonstrates a mastery of stonework, logistics, and precision so advanced that it seems almost beyond its era. At number 11, we journey into the red sandstone cliffs of southern Jordan, where the ancient city of Petra lies hidden, a place so breathtaking and mysterious that early explorers once called it the Rose-Red City, half as old as time. Founded around 400 BCE and thriving into the 1st century CE, Petra was the capital of the Nabateans, a remarkably skilled Arab civilization that mastered the art of desert life. But what makes Petra an architectural marvel isn't just its beauty. It's the astonishing way the city was carved directly into the living rock. The most iconic of its structures, Al-Khazna, which means the treasury, stands as a testament to the Nabateans' craftsmanship. Rising nearly 40 meters high, its ornate facade is carved with astonishing precision, complete with columns, pediments, and statues that rival the finest Greek and Roman temples. And yet, it was chiseled from top to bottom, sculpted directly out of solid sandstone cliffs without the use of scaffolding or modern tools. But Petra's brilliance runs deeper than its facades. The city was an engineering triumph, equipped with a complex hydraulic system that captured, stored, and distributed water throughout the arid valley. The Nabateans constructed dams, cisterns, and channels to control flash floods and sustain a population of tens of thousands, transforming an unforgiving desert into a thriving oasis. The architecture of Petra reflects a unique fusion of cultures, blending Hellenistic artistry with Arabian ingenuity. Temples, tombs, and theaters are all carved in stone, their facades illuminated by the ever-changing desert light, creating an atmosphere both haunting and divine. Today, it stands as one of the most awe-inspiring achievements of the ancient world, a city that proves how art, architecture, and environment can merge into something truly breathtaking. At number 10, we arrive in the heart of ancient Rome, where one of history's most iconic structures still dominates the landscape, the Colosseum. Completed around 80 CE under Emperor Titus, this monumental amphitheater was a feat of engineering genius and architectural ambition. Built to entertain up to 50,000 spectators, the Colosseum wasn't merely a venue for games. It was a symbol of imperial power, designed to awe the world with the might and mastery of Rome. Rising nearly 50 meters high, the Colosseum was constructed from travertine limestone, tufa, and concrete, arranged in an elliptical form for optimal visibility and acoustics. Its complex system of arches and vaults not only provided strength and flexibility, but also allowed for quick movement of enormous crowds, something modern stadiums still strive to replicate. What's truly astounding, however, lies beneath the arena floor. The Hypogeum, an intricate underground network of tunnels, cages, and lifts used to stage animals, gladiators, and elaborate sets. With the pull of ropes and counterweights, entire scenes could rise dramatically into the arena above. And then there was the Colosseum's retractable canopy system, known as the Velarium. This vast network of sails, ropes, and pulleys was operated by Roman sailors to shade spectators from the scorching sun, an innovation far ahead of its time. The Colosseum's design was not only about grandeur. It was about efficiency, order, and spectacle. Its architecture embodied the Roman mastery of concrete, geometry, and crowd control, while its purpose reflected the empire's complex relationship with power and entertainment. Even in ruins, the Colosseum remains a living testament to Roman ingenuity, an architectural masterpiece that has endured earthquakes, fires, and centuries of history. It stands today not merely as an ancient stadium, but as a symbol of human creativity, resilience, and the eternal allure of the past. At number 9, we travel to the misty hills of County Meath, Ireland, where a structure older than Stonehenge and even the Great Pyramids of Giza still stands, the Neolithic passage tomb of Newgrange. Dating back to around 3200 BCE, Newgrange is one of the most extraordinary examples of prehistoric architecture and astronomical precision in the world. At first glance, it may appear to be just a massive grassy mound, about 85 meters in diameter and 13 meters high, but inside lies a stone passageway leading to a central burial chamber, aligned with breathtaking celestial accuracy. Every year on the winter solstice, the longest night of the year, a single beam of sunlight pierces a narrow opening above the entrance, called the roof box, and illuminates the inner chamber for just 17 minutes. This precise alignment required not only remarkable architectural skill, but also an advanced understanding of astronomy, achieved thousands of years before written history. The structure itself was built using over 200,000 tons of stone, some transported from as far as 80 kilometers away. The massive entrance stone is richly carved with intricate spirals and geometric patterns, symbols whose meanings are still debated, possibly representing cycles of life, death, and rebirth. To this day, witnessing the solstice light fill the inner chamber is one of the most powerful experiences in archaeology. a living reminder that even in prehistory, humanity possessed a profound grasp of the cosmos and the skill to build monuments that aligned with the stars themselves. At number 8, we return to the Eternal City, Rome, to witness one of the greatest architectural achievements of all time, the Pantheon. Originally commissioned by Marcus Agrippa around 27 BCE and later rebuilt by Emperor Hadrian around 125 CE, the Pantheon stands as a masterpiece of Roman engineering, geometry, and design. A building so advanced that even modern architects still marvel at how it was built nearly 2,000 years ago. From the outside, the Pantheon's grandeur is unmistakable. Its massive granite Corinthian columns, imported all the way from Egypt, hold up an imposing triangular pediment. But it's what lies within that truly defies belief. A perfectly proportioned rotunda, crowned by a colossal concrete dome, which to this day remains the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world. The dome measures 43.3 meters in diameter, exactly the same as its height from the floor to the top of the dome, creating a perfect sphere within the interior space. At the dome's center is the oculus, a circular opening that lets in a single beam of light, the building's only source of illumination. This shaft of sunlight moves across the interior throughout the day like a celestial clock, transforming the Pantheon into a living sundial that marks time and season. The structure's construction remains one of the great marvels of ancient engineering. Roman builders used graduated layers of concrete, mixing heavier materials like basalt at the base and lighter pumice near the top, allowing the dome to stand without internal support, a feat that remained unmatched for nearly 2 millennia. Over the centuries, the Pantheon's architectural perfection has ensured its survival, while countless other ancient monuments crumbled. It is more than just a building. It is a philosophical statement in stone, a timeless fusion of mathematics, religion, and beauty that perfectly captures the ingenuity of Roman civilization. At number 7, we have the Great Wall of China, one of humanity's most legendary and enduring feats of ancient engineering. Stretching across mountains, deserts, and grasslands for thousands of miles, the Great Wall of China is not merely a wall. It's a living monument to human perseverance, strategic ingenuity, and imperial ambition on a scale that defies comprehension. Though commonly associated with the Ming dynasty, its origins trace back more than 2,500 years to defensive works erected during the Warring States period and later connected under Qin Shi Huang in 221 BCE. The wall is actually a network of fortifications, including walls, watchtowers, trenches, and garrisons, adapted to local terrain and built from rammed earth, stone, and brick. What makes it an ancient architectural marvel is the sheer scale and logistical mastery required. Coordinated labor across regions, supply lines through harsh landscapes, and communication systems using signal fires and beacon towers that transmitted warnings across vast distances. Some stretches were engineered wide enough for patrols and built with foundations and terracing to resist erosion and seismic activity. Beyond defense, the wall symbolized imperial unity and the ability of an ancient state to mobilize and sustain massive construction projects over centuries. It stands today as both a defensive relic and a cultural monument, a visible trace of an empire's organizational power and a testament to the fact that ancient societies could conceive and execute projects on a scale comparable to anything the modern world has built. At number 6, we have the Parthenon, the crowning jewel of ancient Greek architecture and a timeless symbol of classical perfection. Standing proudly atop the Acropolis of Athens, the Parthenon was completed in 447 to 432 BCE during the height of Athens' golden age under Pericles. Dedicated to the goddess Athena, it wasn't merely a temple. It was a statement of Athenian power, artistry, and devotion. What makes the Parthenon an architectural marvel is its mathematical precision and optical sophistication. Every line, column, and angle was carefully calculated to create a sense of flawless harmony, yet few are truly straight. The architects Ectinus and Callicrates, guided by the sculptor Phidias, used subtle curvature throughout the structure. The columns lean slightly inward, the platform curves gently upward, and the spaces between columns vary fractionally. These refinements correct the distortions of human vision, giving the illusion of perfect symmetry and balance, something no machine could have achieved at the time. Built entirely of Pentelic marble, the Parthenon once gleamed in the sunlight, richly decorated with sculpted friezes and statues that depicted mythological battles, divine scenes, and the pride of a civilization that defined Western aesthetics. Its survival through wars, explosions, and centuries of change makes it not just a relic of the past, but a living testament to the genius and ambition of ancient Greece, proof that their grasp of design and proportion still guides architecture to this day. At number 5, we have the Roman aqueducts, a breathtaking testament to the Roman Empire's mastery of engineering, hydraulics, and urban planning. Long before electricity or modern plumbing, the Romans built vast networks of aqueducts that carried fresh water over mountains, valleys, and plains to supply cities, baths, fountains, and farms. Beginning around the 4th century BCE and expanding across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, these structures became the lifelines of the ancient world. Some, like the Aqua Appia in Rome, which was completed in 312 BCE, stretched for kilometers underground, while others, like the iconic Pont du Gard in France or the Segovia Aqueduct in Spain, rose above the landscape in graceful tiers of stone arches. What makes the Roman aqueducts true architectural marvels is the precision of their construction and the subtle mastery of gravity. The engineers achieved a consistent, gentle gradient, often only a few centimeters per kilometer, to keep water flowing smoothly across great distances without modern measuring tools. The stones were cut and fitted so perfectly that many aqueducts required no mortar, relying solely on balance and geometry to withstand centuries of wear. Beyond their function, they symbolized the might and organization of the Roman state, a society capable of coordinating thousands of workers, managing logistics across provinces, and understanding complex physical principles. The aqueducts turned cities like Rome, Carthage, and Nîmes into bustling urban centers with public sanitation and luxury unseen elsewhere at the time. Even today, many of these aqueducts still stand, some still functional, silently proving that Rome's grasp of engineering was far ahead of its time, blending utility with beauty in a way that continues to inspire modern infrastructure. At number 4, we have Teotihuacan, the mysterious ancient city of Mexico that continues to baffle archaeologists and engineers alike. Located just outside modern-day Mexico City, Teotihuacan flourished between 200 BCE and 250 CE, long before the rise of the Aztecs, who would later revere it as the City of the Gods. At its height, it was one of the largest cities in the ancient world, home to over 100,000 inhabitants, with a layout so advanced that it rivals the urban planning of modern cities. What makes Teotihuacan an architectural marvel is the precision, scale, and mysterious sophistication of its design. The entire city was organized on a grid, centered around the Avenue of the Dead, a vast boulevard lined with monumental structures such as the Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon, and the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. These pyramids were not only aligned with celestial events but also constructed using millions of tons of stone, carefully arranged without metal tools, wheels, or beasts of burden. Beneath the surface, archaeologists have uncovered an underground network of tunnels, possibly used for ritual or administrative purposes, and traces of advanced materials, including mica, a mineral used for insulation and reflection, the presence of which raises questions about the city's technological understanding. Teotihuacan's builders remain unknown, its language undeciphered, and its sudden collapse unexplained. Yet its monumental architecture, precise alignments, and advanced planning reveal a civilization of extraordinary capability, one that demonstrates that pre-Columbian America possessed architectural genius long before contact with Europe. At number 3, we have Stonehenge, the mysterious stone circle of England that has stood for over 4,000 years, silently watching the rise and fall of civilizations. Located on the Salisbury Plain, Stonehenge was constructed in several stages between approximately 3000 BCE and 2000 BCE. Its design, a circular arrangement of enormous sarsen stones and smaller bluestones, some weighing up to 25 tons, continues to puzzle historians, architects, and astronomers to this day. What makes Stonehenge an architectural marvel is not just its age, but its precision and purpose. The stones are aligned perfectly with the movements of the sun, marking both the summer and winter solstices with astonishing accuracy. This alignment required a deep understanding of astronomy, geometry, and seasonal cycles, a level of knowledge rarely attributed to Neolithic societies. The purpose of Stonehenge is still debated. Was it a temple to the sun, a burial ground, a healing site, or perhaps a cosmic calendar? Whatever its true function, its endurance through time reminds us that ancient people possessed both vision and technical mastery that far exceed what many give them credit for. At number 2, we have Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest known temple complex, and one of the most groundbreaking archaeological discoveries in human history. Located in southeastern Turkey, Göbekli Tepe dates back to around 9,600 BCE, over 11,000 years ago, long before the invention of writing, the wheel, or even agriculture as we know it. It was built by hunter-gatherers, not settled farmers, completely rewriting what we thought we knew about the origins of civilization. What makes Göbekli Tepe an architectural marvel is its unprecedented age, scale, and sophistication. The site consists of massive T-shaped limestone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, arranged in circular enclosures. These stones are intricately carved with animals, abstract symbols, and humanoid figures, all created without metal tools or domesticated animals. The craftsmanship and organization required to quarry, transport, and erect these stones reveal a society with complex social structures and deep spiritual vision, existing thousands of years earlier than previously thought possible. Even more fascinating, Göbekli Tepe was intentionally buried around 8000 BCE, an act that preserved it for millennia. Archaeologists still debate why. Was it a sacred closure ritual, a shift in belief systems, or a deliberate act to protect the site? Whatever the reason, its rediscovery has challenged every timeline of human advancement, proving that organized religion, monumental architecture, and artistic expression may have come before agriculture, not after. At number 1, we arrive at the undisputed pinnacle of ancient engineering, the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. Standing tall for over 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid remains one of the most extraordinary architectural achievements in human history. A monument so precise, enduring, and mysterious that it continues to astonish scientists, architects, and historians to this very day. Built during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BCE, the Great Pyramid was originally 146.6 meters or 481 feet tall, making it the tallest structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. Constructed from an estimated 2.3 million limestone and granite blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons, the pyramid's total mass exceeds 6 million tons. Yet it was assembled with such precision that its base is level within a fraction of an inch. What makes the Great Pyramid truly mind-bending is the mathematical and astronomical knowledge encoded within its design. The sides are aligned almost perfectly to the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, with an accuracy that modern instruments barely surpass. The dimensions of the pyramid appear to reflect advanced understanding of pi, the golden ratio, and even the circumference of the Earth. How an ancient civilization achieved such precision with copper tools and manual labor remains one of the greatest mysteries of all time. To this day, the Great Pyramid of Giza is the only surviving wonder of the ancient world, and it continues to embody the awe, ambition, and mystery of the ancient human spirit. It's not just an architectural marvel, it's a cosmic riddle carved in stone, a reminder that the ancients may have known far more than we ever imagined. And that brings us to the end of our journey through the ancient architectural marvels. Awe-inspiring creations that continue to challenge our understanding of what ancient civilizations were truly capable of. From the subterranean depths of the Hypogeum of Ħal Saflieni, to the towering precision of the Parthenon, and finally to the celestial perfection of the Great Pyramid of Giza, these masterpieces remind us of one undeniable truth. The ancient world was far more advanced, ingenious, and spiritually profound than we often give it credit for. Each stone, each carving, each alignment tells a story, not just of human labor, but of vision, mathematics, and imagination that still resonates thousands of years later. These weren't just structures. They were messages across time, testaments to the enduring brilliance of humanity's earliest architects and dreamers. If you enjoyed this exploration of the wonders of our ancient past, then don't let the journey stop here. Hit that like button, share this video with others who love uncovering the secrets of lost civilizations, And most importantly, subscribe to Ancient Odyssey, where we explore the mysteries, monuments, and marvels of the ancient world.